This week on the Olympian Project, we're going to talk about CrossFit. Is that crazy? I don't think so. U.S. trials competition online all the way across, supposed to be broadcasted. We also are going to talk about how's Eric Roza and his appearance in the community of CrossFit. And we've got a product this week called Lumen. It might be booming.
Yeah, they can't hold us back, we on another level. Yeah, it's that new age, ain't it something special? Yeah, we gon' change the game, we gon' live forever. Yeah, it's that new age, it's that new.
Eric Roza. When I say that name, the new CEO of CrossFit, what do you think? Not your personal opinion, but if you were to speculate the community of CrossFit's opinion, how do you think that's gone so far?
Yeah, well, I don't know him personally, so I couldn't give a personal opinion. But
I mean, I'm not worried about what you think of his performance.
Yes.
I mean, what are you speculating CrossFits around the world are thinking of the job he's doing? So again, not just you. What do you think other people are taking him as?
I mean, I've heard probably a grand total of 3 CrossFitters talk about him, and one of them is you, and the other one's Nick. So,
I mean, he's been all over the place. He's done quite a few different interviews.
yeah, but I don't pay attention.
But you also see where the games has started to change. You know, the
Yeah,
sport of CrossFit.
I mean,
so
I think for the most part, people are pretty stoked about the changes he's making. He's kind of putting an emphasis on the games again, and everybody likes the games, contrary to Greg Glassman's opinion.
Right.
But I don't know. Yeah, I think people like him. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a CrossFit survey, basically, I think through the community, so like gym owners and stuff, and it came back that the opinion was about 85% was favorable towards Eric Roza being the new CEO. And 14% had no opinion or probably didn't respond, I would imagine. And then about 1.5% had a negative opinion on Eric Roza.
I don't know how you could
Who's
have
the negative?
I don't know how you could have a negative opinion because literally nothing's happened yet.
Well,
one thing's happened that we know, and that's that the Open has changed dates. It's back to what it was.
Well, the games happened under his regime.
Yeah, kinda, but it was 2020 games, which
I mean,
it was going to be like that regardless.
Announcements
It was
going to
be like that
happened.
regardless, and he doesn't have a substantial impact in the games as an
Right,
event.
still
That's
Dave
Castro. He's literally one thing's changed that we know of since he's been CEO, and that's the date of the Open, which went back to what it was before. I don't know how you can have a negative opinion on Eric Roza. I mean, I don't.
Yeah. There's been announcements been made in what they want to do with the CrossFit Games, and so. But I mean, there's other things that have happened, like these initiatives of bringing in other faces into CrossFit and into other communities that haven't had CrossFit. And another big thing that he's been a big part of was the push for government assistance for not just CrossFit gyms. Actually, this is a agenda for all gyms, but they've been pushing really hard for that. I'm not making an argument for somebody to have a negative view, I don't think. So I'm just curious that 1.5, what they just might be old school traditional Greg Glassman fans. And I was never not a fan of Greg Glassman. Don't get me wrong. I didn't think everything was the way it was headed was great for the sport, but I was definitely grateful for him creating this. Generally, I have a gym for 7 years now, but I can't say I'm negative on Eric Roza so far at all. But like you said, there's not a lot to go off of either. Like a lot of this is hypothetical. Like we want to do this, but until we see what actually happens, I don't know how you have a negative, or you just don't like the guy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even really heard him talk a whole lot or anything, but I mean,
Didn't you have some
cool
more
man.
stuff on that on that post there?
Yeah, let me look at that.
Yeah, so
Um,
that's kind of going around the world of
well-
CrossFit right now, but
Well, there's the going off that, like they also did a poll on the Open and what people think about the Open moving back to February or March, and I'm not really surprised. 76 say they support it, 1.4% disapprove for some reason.
Almost exactly the ones that didn't like Eric Roza.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
that's why they don't like. Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly the percentage there too. And then 23, of course, have no opinion. I'm surprised it's not more than 23% because really, I don't care that much if it stayed where in October or moved to
Right.
February. It doesn't. I don't
Tradition
care
kind of
that
leans
much.
you to February, March, just because that's how it's always been. But and I always think February, March is kind of tough. And we're in Texas, so it's not real cold, but we're an outdoor gym, so even
in
for
October
Texas,
it's getting cold and your lungs aren't
yeah.
acquainted with the cold air as much. Like that's what I remember from last year is like as soon as the open came, it started getting cold, and so those first few workouts really sucked.
Yeah, so I guess either way, October for us though can be not nearly as bad. Like February is in the deepest part for us, and we're outdoors. So, but dude, I mean, February could already be heating up. Same thing with October; it could be 30s, but we've had Thanksgiving being 75. So I don't know. But I'm glad that it's back, or at least maybe we'll know it stays wherever it's going to be for the next couple of years, at least. I think more people have probably heard about it than maybe us. This is the first time you've seen it. This is the second time that I'm looking into it, and I'm actually off the top pretty interested in this product. Your thoughts just right here and now.
I think the concept is interesting, but beyond that, I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah, but it's like,
I wouldn't trust it to be accurate.
yeah. Same thing though. You would say like the Whoop app. I mean, the Whoop strap.
Just to
We don't know how it works yet.
to give you an explanation what this product is, it's called the Lumen. It's a tube that you breathe into.
It's just like this big.
And it tells you what you're if you're burning carbs or fats. That's the best explanation.
Well, I'm glad we got that out of there. It
they-
says right there, Lumen knows if your body is using fats or carbs for fuel. And I've seen this with other clients too. Like some people are more adapt to burning carbs, and some people are more adapt to burning fats, and vice versa. I've seen keto work for people, and I've seen keto not work for people. So sometimes you need to know what you're a little more apt to utilizing, I think, as an athlete or just a person.
I guess, but I mean, like, it doesn't seem it doesn't seem like it'd be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe it. I'm skeptical.
Well, that's all you had to say.
What's the I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I can tell because I have no clue what you said. Unlock your metabolism. The CO2 concentration is measured using your unique breath maneuver, which is performed by inhaling a fixed volume of air through the Lumen device, dynamic to each individual, holding it for 10 seconds and exhaling fully. So
sounds like a gimmick to make you think that you're actually doing something.
I mean, that's very possible. And it sounds like I haven't seen this technology, I guess, if you will, before. So being the first of your kind can be good and can be bad. Have they really dialed in on this? But you said it too when we first said this. We know how to track burning. You exhale, you exhaust through your breath. Fat burn and carb burn.
Here's my I feel. Wait. Okay. So.
That's how they would test it in a science. You're just gonna whisper under your breath? I mean, we're on a podcast over here, sir.
I was just about to say, I've never seen this done in a lab, in the same way they would test VO2 max.
Right.
And at that point, I'd say, okay, you probably have something there. There's the technology is obviously there, but here this is even funnier because this guy is in a bubble. He's laying down in a lab in a bubble.
So this could all be propped too. I mean,
I'm sure if the technology's there, this is not so off from what it actually looks like. It's an extensive procedure here to get this test done, and then you have this little stick. This.
Why do you think that's an extensively harder way to get the test than what she's doing?
What? What? What do you mean? Look at him. Look at what he had to go through, and then she's just sucking on this black tube.
First of all, he's in a bubble with
Yeah.
no different device.
A completely
I mean, the
controlled-
device underneath there is no different than what she's putting to her mouth.
I highly doubt that.
Neither one of us know, but I think the technology could be in this device. Now, does the outside factor in? Does it factor into it? I don't know. Before Lumen, the only way to measure your metabolism was in a hospital or clinic with a costly and time-consuming test known as RER, through the breath. They still measured it through the breath, though. So are we onto something? With Lumen uses RER as the core data point to bring the same measurement to a home environment by measuring the CO2 in your breath through this sensor and flow meter based on the RER. So they're using the same technology.
I'll tell you right now, it's bullcrap.
Okay.
I just looked up RER test.
Yeah.
And it's is the ratio between the amount of carbon dioxide produced in metabolism and oxygen used.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means, but
How's that gonna?
But
how are you gonna tell me that's bullcrap then?
Come
on, Gary.
Because it's done. It's like this is done and says in conjunction with stuff like a VO2 max test, which that's the first thing I thought of when you would test something like this. But like it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It looks like they're using buzzwords and gold standard RER. Like it's bullcrap. It's bullcrap.
All right.
I don't have any evidence. I don't have any proof. But just based off their marketing, I can tell it's bullcrap. What I would want to do is take one of these things and set it in front of a fan. Set it in front of a fan and see what happens.
Right.
See how many carbs and fat the fan is burning, because I bet you it would tell you that fan is burning some carbs.
Right.
I guarantee it, dude.
Yeah. And it might be. But I guess since we got it all figured out.
I mean, let's look at it some more. Let's look at it some more.
Don't know what.
So a graph that means nothing to nobody.
Yeah.
That's a good selling point.
I mean, most of this
if you show someone something that they don't know how to read, you could probably sell this product to them, I think.
Yeah.
You seem did I sell you that it's bullcrap?
No. I mean, I was going to have a conversation, but I mean, I don't really have anything to argue against it.
Because I'm right. I know it. Let's watch the video.
Really doubt that the way you're describing it is right. Now,
I mean, I'm going to read. I spent 30 seconds reading on it a little bit. I want to read more about it.
So that makes you completely the expert.
Skeptical.
Makes you the expert to knock it down. The 30 seconds of reading.
Skepticism
has
is healthy.
Knocked it out.
Skepticism is healthy.
Oh, I agree 100%. That's why we opened this up. But
because skepticism keeps you from buying products that are bullcrap.
Yeah.
And I have a healthy dose of skepticism in me right now.
Oh, sure.
What happened to the video?
It was on the last page. We don't get the audio, so it's kind of pointless.
I want to watch the video, though.
We'll watch it afterwards. $279 for the product. Obviously, if you don't believe the product's real, it doesn't really matter what the price is. It could be $12. You're not going to buy it.
Scientifically validated. That's it. That's all it says.
Yeah, it's about like every single supplement or product out there.
Try
the good
Lumen
thing is you can do it for 30
days.
days. So
let's do it, dude. Let's do the fan test on the Lumen.
Yeah, I think we can both share it. We can both suck on it.
Does it have a double end version?
Yeah, it does. It's got a two-headed version to where you suck on one end, I suck on the other.
No, it's like synchronized breathing. So while you're sucking in, I'm sucking out.
That'd be blowing out.
I'm blowing out.
I don't know. If that's the way they did it in clinics, that doesn't look. Technology moves forward. It doesn't seem like it would be that hard to actually make this a reality. If it's just measuring CO2 in your breath, or breathing out
on Indiegogo.
But to me, that it doesn't seem like that's that hard of technology. Again, if I'm on the other side of this, it just has to measure what's coming out, I mean, could it? I mean, cars can drive themselves. So I mean, I feel like it's possible. I don't feel like the first one is going to be the best one though, and that's almost the case with everything. So is there another? I can't.
Next, it's going to be test your VO2 max with this.
But when they were breaking down the science of it,
they didn't though.
Well, okay, at least their explanation was Lumen flow meter determines CO2 concentration. So apparently there's an algorithm with CO2 concentration in your, right here, concentration measure using a unique breath maneuver. So yeah, you got to have enough in there for it to actually break down.
But then they put the picture of the guy in the freaking Star Trek capsule. Like it looks like he's freaking 30 years in the future. And then this girl is just sucking on a black
But
tube.
see, this almost looks more inefficient because why wouldn't they have had the device in his mouth if they wanted more of a direct, non-contaminated sample?
Sure that if nothing else is 130 times more accurate than that thing.
But to me, almost logically, it just seems, I mean, it could be taking in all this stuff that was on him before. I mean, it could be in your hair or something like that. This is a direct to the mouth, to the patient type thing.
Does carbon dioxide stick to your hair?
I have no clue. I mean, other things could go into that filter. I don't know. I don't know what it's doing there.
Flush it out. Maybe they fill it with helium first. And then
you start talking to yourself. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel as if we're in a technology age that this would be possible, honestly, if the science is right. I feel like that would be possible.
I'm sure the science is right.
And it shows what they did in clinics was literally doing the same thing, but just in a bubble around your head. So I don't know. It may not be as accurate, but so body fat calculators, those ones where you hold, it's like, how is that as accurate as somebody doing the actual measurements? It may not be exactly right, but it gives you a consistency on the reading.
But also, like, I feel like even the science has room to be flawed. Like, what if you're just eating more carbs than you are fat that day? You're gonna burn more carbs. What if you're just eating more fat than you are carbs? And then it's gonna tell you to do the opposite, and then the next day it's gonna tell you to do the opposite.
Well,
it doesn't.
No, and I read a little bit about the app and what they actually do with it, and so that's kind of what they build into it. So like you just depending on what you ate and what you're burning, it tells you what to eat and when to eat as well, and so it does play off of that. So I'm not saying that it.
How much is it? Because I think I missed that.
$279 with the $70 off.
With $70 off.
Yeah.
For Black December.
No, this is just a holiday deal. I think it might have been cheaper during that, but
they do have an extensive page of studies.
Yeah.
But
I mean, of course, you're trying to sell a product, so you're going to give the good studies, and
studies are prone to.
Heart rate beats per minute. Terms. That's just terms. So yeah, I don't know. I think the science, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I think there probably is a possibility down the line for sure. It's the first one, and we would search it out if I had a keyboard. But I don't know if there's anything else out like it.
Another thing is I don't see the benefit that much.
Well, for me, like it's taken a long time to figure out what I burn well and what I don't burn well, and I still don't think I've dialed in the timing and everything like that.
But who is this marketed towards?
Somebody overweight trying to lose weight.
Okay. Well, then you don't need this. First off, at all. You just need to eat less and work out more.
Well, could it be somebody that's trying to perform too? I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I think it fits more like a loss weight, a weight loss thing.
And that's what I was getting at. Like, if it's looking for performance, what performance level? A pro, a amateur,
right?
Because if you're looking to perform at a high level, I don't think Matt Frazier has ever thought once about what he burns better, carbs or fat.
So this to me,
if he does think about it, he just goes based off feel.
Right.
At the highest level, this doesn't
old,
matter. You just need to eat to fuel your body, period.
Well, yeah, and there's good and bad about that. But I think at 20-something years old too, your metabolism's higher or it's more effective, I should say. I think everybody says higher, but I think the question was like, who is this targeting? I think this is your 30s, 40s, 50s somethings that are, they're really not probably working out as hard as the elites and maybe not as much. And again, is this a tool that just gets you to do the right things? Is it 100% accurate? I could never tell you that.
To
I
do the
think
right
the technology
things and eat right.
Right. Yeah.
You should use a macro counter.
But I think people spent more money on dumber things for sure.
I agree. I definitely. They spend less money on dumber things.
Which is
I
guess
yeah,
better,
I guess if you're like the like the Ben Greenfield biohacker, kind of type, this is probably that's who they're marketing towards is the biohacker
techies that are into fitness too. Like I like technology, and I'm 30 something, you're 20 something.
The Whoop is about as far as I can go.
But Whoop kind of goes more into performance for any level and age.
Yeah.
This I don't. Like you said, Matt Frazier or an aspiring, 20-something CrossFitter. I don't think they would need that. I think they go like you said,
something Ben
performance
Greenfield would be sponsored by.
Well, and it doesn't look like they have any sponsors right now too. So I didn't notice.
We'll take a sponsorship. And we will love your product.
You loved it right out the gate, right?
Yeah. And we gave you guys a great idea for a double-sided version of these things.
For
partner workouts.
Sell 2 for 1. I did read on there where it said like they don't suggest, 2 people using one. I mean, it is possible, but you got to like change this stuff on there. So I think they'll probably change that down the road. You'd have to download your own app or whatever. The good thing about this is it's only $279 one time. The Whoop, the Whoop's great. I love the Whoop, but it can get to where if you don't have people under, that use your link or whatever, it's $30 a month. You're gonna pay way more for the Whoop than you are for this thing. Yeah, over time,
I think. I mean, yeah, I can. I
mean, 1 year,
a lot
you're
of people
$360 into it.
I know a lot of people will use Whoop for 6 months and then take that information that they gathered from using the Whoop,
kind of apply it.
Yeah, and just get rid of the Whoop, which is, that's fair.
Again,
Some people might like the Whoop enough to keep it.
How accurate is the Whoop? Again, I like to think that the science is, the technology is there. But every time I have that thing on my wrist and I'm about to, I'm sitting there thinking, like, do I get on the Xbox and play a round or two of Call of Duty, or do I need to catch up on my recovery? And that thing is a constant reminder. Again, is it 100% accurate? I think we'd be speculating the same way with this here.
No, that's proven.
But that's what I'm saying. I think
that's the thing. Whoop, like heart rate monitors that use the same technology as the Whoop or the Apple Watch or the Fitbit are 100% proven and not be nearly as accurate at all as traditional heart rate monitors like chest straps and stuff.
Right.
So, And
that's the thing. To me, I think consistency plays a part. Until that technology is there, where it is 100% accuracy, to me, a lot of it's about the consistency. It may be a little off, 5%, but if it's consistently off 5%, I can still improve. If it's all over the place just randomly, then there's nothing I can improve because it doesn't make any sense. So again, if this is telling me a consistent, even if it's 10% off, but it's always on that line, and if I start to improve my diet or, when I eat and it drops, it moves it that direction, I can at least gauge it. So that's kind of how I felt about any heart rate monitor. Is like, all right, it may not be exactly on point, but it's consistently off. Then I can improve from there. So maybe that's the same thing with the Lumen. Right now, I got a $70 off limited time offer, $279, usually $350. So if you're interested at all, you can go on their website. We're not sponsored, so do your thing if you want to try it out. We don't necessarily endorse it, but we're always willing to try it. That's going to do for today, huh?
Yeah.
You got anything else?
I just immediately started falling asleep.
Wow. That's usually what happens with pretty much anything you do. All right. Well, until next week, we're getting close to the holidays. Hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving, and Christmas is around the corner. This might be a Christmas present or any other item we've ever talked about. Email us any
Speak
questions
with
you
more
have.
syllables. Next time.
Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.